Namo Amida Buddha. I have figured out that it is more often than not easier to focus on the saying of the name of Amida Buddha than it is focusing on the shit inside of my head. This has always been a big deal for me. It's becoming less of a big deal. I've gotten to the point to where it is easier just to focus on Nembutsu. And this is the article by Josho Adrian Cirlia that helped me to do this. I am always inspired by his articles. I am always inspired by the things he comes up with. The man is so steeped in Dharma knowledge. And I mean, it's just amazing. And his articles tend to be very simplistic. They're not complex. They're not filled with weird academic literary terms. I'm going to tell you this while I'm looking this up. Well, here's some examples. He did this recently. Thoughts come and go. They are like clouds. Stick with Amida, not with the wandering thoughts. That's just part of an article he put out recently. But this one I love. This is one of two I read almost every single day. I'm going to go ahead and enlarge this so I can read it better. Rest in Nembutsu. Let all your thoughts come and go while you just say the name. Put an image of Amida that you like in front of you and say Nembutsu while looking at it. Don't force yourself to feel anything special. Just look at Amida Buddha and say his name. Rest in his presence and name. Namo Amida Buddha, Namo Amida Buddha, Namo Amida Buddha. Do not pursue the various thoughts and worries that appear in the mind, but rest in Amida's name. You can do this wherever you are, even without an image in front of you. Amida Buddha is always present, so you can simply change the focus to him and leave everything else aside. You do not need meditation techniques which will make you go astray from Amida, when the simple resting in the name can be done in any circumstance, and it is in accord with Amida's primal vow and Shinran's words. In this fleeting world, this burning house, all matters without exception are empty and false, totally without truth and sincerity. The Nembutsu alone is true and real. So rest in Namo Amida Buddha, the manifestation of true reality beyond the samsaric delusion. Rest in the name, and you rest in Amida's presence. This is not a metaphor nor a symbol, but the actual truth. Amida is in front of you every time, so please turn your mind to him and rest in his name. Namo Amida Buddha. The above instructions appeared to me, Reverend Josho Adrian Cirlia, spontaneously during a night at Amida-ji Temple. May our Dharma friends abandon the intention to mix practices and find everything they need in the Nembutsu of faith. And at the bottom, he has a photo of Amida Buddha on the altar of Amida-ji Temple, Romania. And that's pretty revolutionary. It's pretty simple, straightforward, and yet I can think of nothing more simplistic than this. I love the term also, rest in Nembutsu. It's not a task I have to do. It's not a practice I need to do. It's not a dharma exercise. It is, the name comes from Amida. Amida embodies his power and strength, his salvation in his name. It comes from him. It does not come from me. So all I have to do is say that name. Not try to add any special thoughts to it. Not try to add any real concentration or emotion or focus. Just rest in Nembutsu. Let all your thoughts come and go while you just say the name. And this can be done in front of an image of Amida Buddha, or out in the park, out walking to and from a destination, be it work, the grocery store, be it in the grocery store, silently or aloud. Rest in Nembutsu. I love that term. It also changes the way you look at saying Nembutsu. It's not a thing that you need to do. It's the name of Amida he offers freely in a relaxed manner to all of us. And so we're given an opportunity, a gift, a respite, if you will, from the chaos of daily life, from the chaos of our minds, from the chaos of our jobs, from the chaos of our interpersonal relationships, from the chaos of how we interpret the words and actions of others. Just say Namo Amida Buddha. Just say Namo Amitofo. Just say Namo Amitabha. Just say Namo Aida Fat. When you look at it in this light, it's revolutionary because of the total childlike simplicity of the act itself. Nothing special is required. It says Amida Buddha is always present, so you can simply change the focus to him and leave everything else aside. Just let go of your worries. I do that now. Shit will be fomenting in my mind. Memories of the past, of the present, worries about the future. And then I just simply change the focus to him and leave everything else aside. You do not need meditation techniques which will make you go astray from Amida. When this simple resting in the name can be done in any circumstance, and it is in accord with Amida's primal vow and Shinran's words. In this fleeting world, this burning house, all matters without exception are empty and false. Without truth and sincerity, the Nembutsu alone is true and real. And Josho says, once again, so rest in Namo Amida Buddha, or however you want to say the name of Amida Buddha, whatever language. The manifestation of true reality beyond samsaric delusion. Rest in the name and you rest in Amida's presence. This is not a metaphor nor a symbol, but the actual truth. Amida is in front of you every time. So please turn your mind to him. Rest in his name. Namo Amida Buddha. Amida is always in front of us. And it goes back to something I've talked about before, which I have actually pinned to my profile page on VK. This is the second thing I read every single day, aloud, because it is so important. This article. Question. Question. How can I bring more simplicity into my life and practice? My answer. Limit yourself to what is really necessary in personal and spiritual life. Read simple Buddhist books and do not complicate your mind with unnecessary things. My mind is constantly complicated with unnecessary things. What did she mean by that? What did he mean by that? What this, that, or the other? What this happens. What if that happens? Shit that happens at work, in the grocery store, with coworkers, with customers, with going to and from the bus. Shit I have no control over. What about tomorrow? What a fucking thing to worry about. What about tomorrow? Some idiot may drop a nuclear bomb, and there will be no tomorrow in this Saha realm. There'll be a glorious tomorrow for me if that happens. I'll be born a fully enlightened Buddha in the Pure Land, not in this life. It says, limit yourself to what is really necessary in personal and spiritual life. Read simple Buddhist books and do not complicate your mind with unnecessary things. How do I not complicate my mind with unnecessary things? Simply rest in Nembutsu. Namo Amida Buddha. Don't try to say it right. Don't say it in a perfect room with perfect lighting, perfectly clean, uncluttered. Wherever you are, on the toilet, in the shower, walking, laying down, standing up. Namo Amida Buddha. 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 In your head, aloud, in your heart. Namo Amida Buddha. Namo Amida Buddha. You don't have to say it all the time. I like watching westerns. He goes on to say, do not abuse alcohol or any intoxicants so that you can be as healthy as possible. Sickness is uncomfortable, so try to stay healthy. It's also distracting to be sick. When you're down with the flu, the cold or the flu, you feel like crap. And you don't feel like doing anything. He goes on in this article to say, this second article, to say, do not befriend noisy people or people who drive you crazy or with too many problems that they refuse to solve by themselves. And he explains this further later on. If possible, live in the countryside, and if not, visit parks and nature in the town. This is so true. This little sentence, if possible, live in the countryside, if not, visit parks and nature in the town. I don't live in the country. I've never lived in the country. I always grew up in the suburbs of Houston. I live in the suburban district of Houston now. but I love visiting a business park on my breaks before I go to work. On beautiful days, I will go for walks and just look at nature. And I mean, it's a residential area, and we had a tornado here in Houston, which tore up a lot of trees. So there's not a lot of nature to look at, but you don't need a lot to look at to distract your mind from the bullshit in your head. A simple bird chirping on a telephone wire, a squirrel running across a fence. The other Saturday, I was saying Nembutsu at the beautiful business park, which luckily the trees there were not affected before I started my workday. And I looked up and there was a baby falcon up on the branch. I love hawks and falcons and buzzards. These beautiful, graceful birds touch my heart. And yes, I know they're carnivorous birds and they rip pigeons and doves apart. I don't care. I love nature. All nature, all animals. And it just sat there, and I started preaching to that bird. I said, entrust, and I do this whenever I see a lizard, a bug, an ant, a robin, a mockingbird, a blue jay, a squirrel. I will say, entrust yourself to Amida Buddha. Say his name in faith and wish to be born in his pure land of ultimate bliss and peace. And if you entrust yourself to Amida Buddha, say his name in faith and wish to be born in his pure land of ultimate bliss and peace, then I assure you in your next life you will most assuredly be born in the pure land of Amida Buddha. And this is true. This is the primal vow. I love nature. Nature has and continues to save my life. It is beautiful. Nature can be a flower on a weed growing in the cracks of the sidewalk. And it doesn't really matter how much garbage is around that little bit of nature. Namo Amida Buddha, Namo Amida Buddha, Namo Amida Buddha. No matter how much shit is in your life, and I say that because we were hit by a tornado not so long ago. That's why I haven't made a video sooner. They called it a derecho. The thing lasted probably 3 minutes. I was with my friend watching a Western on TV. And suddenly, all hell broke loose. The power was out. We went outside, and our beautiful oak tree out in our courtyard was just decimated. I hope the thing lives. But most of the trees in Houston were totally decimated. This thing took less than 5 minutes, guys. It was like boom. And it took forever for my job and my apartment to get power back. Luckily, the buses were running. My job got power back before I did. But even with all the stuff that happens, even stuff that happens unexpectedly, there is so much to be thankful to Amida for. Foremost is the primal vow that all you have to do is say the name of Amida, entrust yourself to him, and wish to be born in his pure land. And in your next life you will be. Just know it's true. Don't let doubt carry you away. And how do you keep from doubting? Namo Amida Buddha. See, that's the thing. When crazy shit thoughts form in your head, you can change that focus either to nature, a good book or movie, or you can just stop thinking about the shit in your head and go, Namo Amida Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amitofo. Namo Aidafat. Namo Amitabu. It doesn't matter how you say it, guys. Just as long as you focus on the name. And I'm not telling you have to focus on the name all the time. Don't draw this out of context. That's the whole idea of resting in Nembutsu. It is something freely given that you can use at any time. And remember, we use the name of Amida. We focus on the name of Amida. It does not belong to us because it does not come from us. If I use the name of Amida, I don't mean use it for magical purposes or to get rich or, protection as a talisman. I mean, how do I explain this? The mundane simplicity of saying the name of Amida Buddha. Let me rephrase that. The mundane simplicity of just simply saying the name of Amida Buddha is miraculous in so many ways. And it has nothing to do with what it does or doesn't do. It has nothing to do with what it does or doesn't do. Saying the name, and those of you who receive Shinran know what I'm talking about. There are times when you say the name, you're just saying the name. It's not for any purpose. Sometimes I say the name pouring out my heart in prayer. Sometimes I say the name asking for Amida's guidance. Sometimes I say the name in gratitude. But most of the times now that I say the name, I'm just saying the name. Because I want to. Because I love it. I love the name of Amida Buddha. I love the name in and of itself. Namo, I entrust myself and pay homage to. Amida, Amitabha. Butsu, or Buddha. I entrust myself and pay homage to Amitabha Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu, or as we in Amidaji Temple like to pray it, the shortened version, Namo Amida Buddha. It doesn't matter how you say the name. It does matter that you say the name because it is a wonderful name. It is the greatest name. It is a beautiful name. I cannot say enough for the name of Amida Buddha. I post so many videos of Vietnamese and Chinese and Taiwanese and Korean people saying the name of Amida Buddha in their own language. And needless to say, since I belong to a Japanese sect, the Japanese version. But the thing is, it doesn't matter. I love the name. Because I love Amida Buddha. I love Amida Buddha because he is my Savior. And for the first time in my life, I can say I've known a true Savior who keeps his word, who does what he says he's going to do, who doesn't give me false promises, who doesn't give me false hope. Amida Buddha has over and beyond delivered on everything he says in the sutra, in the larger sutra. I will never go back. I will never try something else. There is absolutely no desire in me to add anything to the words Namo Amitabha Buddha, Namo Amida Butsu. Because how can you improve on perfection? So I rest in the name. I digress. Let me continue that second article that I read every day. Do not befriend noisy people who drive you crazy or with too many problems that they refuse to solve by themselves. If possible, live in the countryside. If not, visit parks and nature in the town. Do some physical exercise on a regular basis. Hit the gym as much as possible. I don't hit the gym, but I'm vegan and I walk and take the bus everywhere. I get a lot of exercise. And I'm a barista. I get a lot of exercise at work. Try not, and this is very important. This has helped me a lot. Try not to have obsessions about people in your past and present. Big one for me. Big problem for me. And what has helped, one of the ways that has helped me not to do this, I focus on the name of Amida as much as possible. Not all the time. That's not humanly possible because I'm a spiritual idiot. I'm a bamboo. My attention span is like that. As are most people living in this Dharma ending age of Mappo. But when I start to drift off in my bullshit thoughts, more often than not, Amida will send me a butterfly or a bird or a flower on a weed growing on a fence next to a sidewalk, and I'll say, Sangye Raku. I offer flowers of joy to you, Amida. Namo Amida Bu, Namo Amida Bu, Namo Amida Bu. It also says, try not to have obsessions about people from your past and present, both. And you who know me, you who tuned into this channel, you who have subscribed, know oh too well the past. The shit show, my own personal Vietnam War that I grew up in. And in the present. Hey, Karens and assholes abound, guys. This is the Dharma ending age of Mappo. Josho Adrian Kirlia Sensei goes on to say, do not take yourself, this is important too, do not take yourself, your life, or problems too serious and too tragic. Boy, that's a good one. Okay. Why did I usually obsess about people from my past and present? Because I tend to take myself, my life, and my problems too serious and too tragic. Big fucking mistake. It is so much easier when I do that. I don't say if I do that. It's inevitably going to happen. Because it takes a while to lose old habits. Especially habits you've been ingrained in you from birth by your shit upbringing. But one of the things that's helping to disengage me from that crap is, like I said, I'll notice something pretty. I'll look out, I'll see the clouds. Namo Amida Buddha. I'll look at a tree. Namo Amida Buddha. I'll look at dandelions in the grass. Namo Amida Buddha. I see a butterfly. Namo Amida Buddha. Or in winter months, just something about the crisp winter weather. And take my word for it, I hate winter, I hate cold weather. But still, there's beauty there. And we don't get snow in Houston. Almost never. But still, another excuse to focus on Nembutsu and gratitude. Namo Amida Buddha. Then again, there is so much to be grateful for. Just like Joshua Adrian Kirlia, I must say, everything good in my life comes from Amida. It doesn't come from me. Because I've lived on my own devices, I've lived with my own thoughts, and let me tell you something. If hell's any worse, I definitely don't want to go there. And I won't. I won't go there. I'm going to the pure land of Amida Buddha. So don't take your life, don't take yourself, your life, or problems too serious and too tragic. Another big one, do not think you can fix the world or people around you. Now, those who know me know that I also have a vegan channel. I'm a vegan and proud of it. It's called Joshin, the Buddhist Vegan. And I do a small amount of animal rights activism. I willingly share with people veganism as I willingly share with people who are curious Buddhism. And neither one do I try to ram down anyone's throats. But I will be honest. If someone offers me a dairy product, I'll say, I'm sorry, I can't take this. This may have dairy in it, or this may have dairy and eggs in it. I'm a vegan. And of course, people react differently, but hey, it's like, you know, you've got a peanut allergy, or you've got some kind of deadly allergy, or health situation, or a wheat allergy. You don't say, oh, okay, well, I don't want to look like a freak, so I'll take this. And no, I made a vow to the Buddha. This goes in with my vow of non-killing. Not a requirement to be a person of Shinran, guys. Not a requirement to say the name of Amida. My personal choice to be a vegan. My reason for being a vegan is I love Buddha. And so I'm a vegan activist, fully aware of the fact that I cannot fix the world or people around me. But that was a big problem. It's a big problem for a lot of people. That's what fucked me up with my parents. My mother was always trying to manipulate and fix my mind, and she ended up fucking me up hopelessly bad. When I say hopelessly, it's not hopeless. I'm changing. I mean, I'm in my mid to late 60s, but I'm changing. Mid 60s. Actually, early 60s. I'm 63 as of the making of this video. But you can't make people like you. You can't fix people. I tried recently at work with someone who's left. You can't. I'm an unenlightened person trying to appease an unenlightened person. It doesn't end well for me. I cannot fix the world or the people around me. I can share with them what I've found and I have found, actually who found me, who loved me, who drew me to him, was my personal Lord and Savior, Amida Buddha, Namo Amida Buddha. Also, the precept of non-killing is a good thing. And I choose to keep that. Very rarely am I able to keep the precepts, but I've done better than I've done in my entire life. I'm a vegan. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. And this is my own personal choice. It's not a requirement for any Jodo Shinshu practitioner, even a priest. I've chosen celibacy. Doesn't mean I don't lust. Hey, doesn't mean I don't jack off. I whack off every now and then. I know that's too much information, but I want you people out there to know, being a Buddhist, being a person of Shinran is not about being perfect. It's about entrusting to Amida and saying his name in faith, wishing to be born in his pure land. Nothing more, nothing less. He goes on to say, do not have high expectations from people. I could stop right there, but I'm going to go on. He goes on to say, especially from those you love. Try to rely on yourself as much as possible. Another good game changer. I was raised by my mother, who was worried about all things and lived her life in fear, in constant panic mode. I grew up in constant fear and panic, besieged by endless anxiety attacks. I'm here to tell you that I have learned that can be stopped. But I gotta make that decision. Now, can I fix my mind? No. And he goes on to explain this. Do not let go of the past, and do not make long-term plans for the future. It's not mindfulness. It's just living, focusing mainly on your life as you live it. You know, you have all these terms that, you know, people make into a religion, like Thich Nhat Hanh, you know, it is like, you know, mindfulness, being totally in the, I can't be totally in the moment. But I cannot worry about the future. Yeah, I make plans. I'm going to go to the grocery store. I may do this, that. But you don't know if tomorrow's going to come, guys. We live in a crazy world. You know, we live in a crazy world with nuclear weapons and idiots in charge of our countries. And I say that plural. And this is where, this is important. Whenever disturbing thoughts arise in the mind, let them come and go. Don't focus on them, as they are empowered by the attention you give to them. However, if you do not pay attention to them, they will go naturally. This is true. I can say this from personal experience. This is true. This is a better solution than trying to fix your mind. Mainly because you can't fucking fix your mind. If that were so, I would have fixed my mind a long time ago. Can't be done. It's impossible. At least for me. This is beautiful, and it's true. Find pleasure in simple things. Simplicity. Simplicity. Like a good book, a good movie. I love good movies. Music, I love jamming out to tunes, etc. And more important than anything, Have a simple faith in Amida Buddha and do not expect special things to happen in your spiritual life. I hope this helps. Namo Amida Buddha. Yes, Sensei. Thank you. Gasho Sensei. Josho Surlia. It does help. A lot. But what I want you to know is simply say the name. Simply say the name. It doesn't have to be done all the time. You're not going to do it all the time. Because you're not an enlightened Buddha. Don't look for perfection. Look to Amida Buddha with gratitude and know that he loves you just exactly as you are. You. He loves you. And I don't care how big of a fuck up you are, speaking as a fuck up. I don't care how big of an idiot you are, speaking as an idiot. Amida loves and accepts you. You may not approve of everything you do, everything you say, definitely not everything you think. It doesn't matter. That's why Amida Buddha created his primal vow for all of us. It is an honor and a privilege and a simple joy to say the sacred name of Amitabha Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu. I love you.